What's up, Zox fam? And we're back with some more Wuthering Waves. Now we're going to be getting into the different exchange shops, what to expect, what to look for, some important items that is going to vastly help you with being able to do more, getting more resource dungeon runs in, or even just allowing you to be able to complete quests. So we're going to dive straight into it, guys. Make sure you like, subscribe, and let me know what you guys think in the comment section, all right? So let's go ahead and get into it. Now, the first exchange shop we're going to actually be taking a look at is the Interference Exchange. Now, this exchange is actually fairly important in my opinion because there's a resource here that you'll be able to buy. The coin you are going to be looking at though is called the Interference Plate. You will be able to obtain these from initial clearings of like different dungeons and modes and stuff like that, right? Now, one of the important factors about this specific place is that you are going to be able to buy stamina recharge ×1, but this is an item that increases your stamina limit by 10. So this is something that I would like, for example, like right now, right? This is something I would buy every last bit of it. Like I'm buying all of that because that gave me a stamina limit of plus 100, right? So if we go and we take a look real quick, because I just want to show you guys. Let's go to my map. Right, so it gave me 100 stamina right there that I did not have before. So that's really, really important. Obviously, if you don't want to buy that, you could obviously wait for recharge time. But I think that that's something that you really honestly like. Outside of everything else that's here, which is pretty farmable, that's a really, really solid resource to just kind of pick up. Now, of course, I will say the next thing that I would definitely say are really important are going to be the tier 3s. But again, you can always fuse upward. And I will say, I feel like the drop rate of things are pretty fair. So you're not going to have to go too crazy. But I definitely will say that is something that, you know, if you have to snag 1 or 2, that will be something that you might want to potentially grab. But definitely we're taking that stamina. So that is the first exchange shop that you will probably end up coming across within your journey. All right, guys, so we are at the next exchange shop, and this is Uncle Way's Weapons Franchise. Okay, now the cool thing about this place is, which will show the exchange shop first, I would obviously say you're not going to be buying these. You could definitely get better drops from just, I mean, honestly, just either doing whatever pulls you do for the 2-star or 3 stars that you get. And then, of course, just like stuff you might find across, you know, the land and just battling. This is just really bad. OK, so this shop you're just going to completely ignore, to be honest. But again, I still want to show this just so that people don't make, you know, that mistake of coming in here and buying a 50K 2-star sword. But one cool functionality that this place does have, though, is if you go to this table, this is a forge table where you'll actually be able to make a reciprocating 4-star. So they do allow you to be able to make a 4-star weapon that does not rely on the gacha. Okay, so I know a lot of people were probably wondering, was there a free-to-play way to be able to obtain a 4-star? They do have a way for you to be able to do that. Now, these are all resonant energy attack %. I think this one's resonant energy. So it is going to vary on obviously what you're making, but these are really, really good because this resource right here, which is the actual building material or the raw material for the weapon, these are actually farmable from different dungeons throughout the entire map. So you would just have to find the corresponding one. Like, for example, here, you can either exchange for it, you can obtain it from the Geo Shalom challenge or the Scar challenge. So there's a couple of different places you can get these resources, and they vary, of course, like I mentioned, but this is definitely something I think a lot of free-to-play players are probably going to take advantage of, and I can't wait to see what else they do or expand on as content gets, you know, much harder to give free-to-play other alternatives or options. Now, this isn't necessarily an exchange shop, but you do exchange items for other items here. And this is the synthesis printer. Now, the synthesis printer is going to be really important because this is going to allow you to, one, for example, take materials to make things like potions, or if you have structures to make, you'll have some that will come possibly in the future. Don't know if we have any yet, but we'll probably have some in the future that you'll be able to take a look at. Also, the purification. So this is the functionality that I was mentioning that you will be able to make make the corresponding higher tiered versions of the resources you are out in the world grinding. So for example, if we go and we say we're trying to make this crystal fragment for Glacio, you're going to be using the crystals to be able to make the fragments. And then say, for example, we're looking at the Conducto one, then you would take those Conducto fragments and turn them into Conducto prisms. So this is a way for you to skip having to get those higher tier drops just innately, and you can actually fuse upward, which is really, really good when we're talking about getting more value in terms of your farming versus, you know, the actual amount of energy you have to be able to do these said dungeons, or just even your time spent just in the overworld, just kind of farming and fighting different enemies. So I definitely wanted to at least mention this because this is still an exchange shop, but it is going to be more so based off of resources you already collected versus you just going in and buying resources you might need. Now, the next shop is actually going to be the souvenir shop, and I think that you get introduced to this fairly early. Now, this is actually going to be a resource here called the commemorative coin, and this is something that you are going to be able to obtain via exploring Huanglong. So this is just something you just like obtain from doing different things, opening chests, finding different missions, like killing people. Like, this is just a generalized resource that's just out in the field. Now, some of the cool things that you're able to buy here is obviously some of those weapon materials that we're mentioning before for the forge. Now, again, would I advise buying these first? Probably not. I think one of the first things I actually bought were the gacha pulls. So yeah, you can actually buy modulation key codes in here. I think it's about 5 of them at a cost of 20 to 1. But you can also get some of the sand crystals, some other resources I thought were pretty important. Like these resources right here are going to be for your weapon ascension. So you definitely want to make sure that you're paying attention to what you need. They are fairly cheap as well. So something I would say is really, really nice to buy. The 100 is definitely something that is pretty expensive, I will say. So yeah, being very, very careful with that. I know another thing that's going to catch people's eyes here are the Rower's Reverberation Wave Band. And this is used to retrieve a specified resonator and activate resonate chain nodes. So you can use this on any of the resonators that you have, which is actually kind of fire that they have this set up this way, because this is going to be a really, really free to play thing for you to be able to take advantage of. But they definitely made sure it was 120 of the coins, because that is definitely a high in value item. So outside of the gacha pools, I definitely think a lot of people are probably going to want to pick up those reverberation bands, and that's just pretty much that with this shop. So the next shop, guys, is going to be the pharmacy store. Now, the pharmacy store is going to have things like adrenaline, which again, you can make these on your own, or even energy drinks. You can also farm these out in Huanglong as well. But it's also going to have some of those extra resources that, again, you can farm. So I guess this is kind of one of those things, like if you are in need of it, then sure, you can spend the extra resources if you have it to buy these. But I promise you, you're going to be able to farm these in abundance. I'm pretty sure, like, out of a lot of these items, I got at least a stack of 10, if not at least 5 or something. Yeah, I own one. I got these. Okay, so yeah, you don't got to go super crazy with trying to obtain these. Just again, trying to figure out the area, and if it ever comes up that where you might need them, this is a place where you'll be able to obtain them. So really not much about this shop that's super crazy or out of the way, but again, it still might be something you want to take advantage of. Now, the next shop that we have is going to be under Panhua's Kitchen. Okay, now this is where you'll be able to buy food items and also recipes. And with these recipes, you'll be able to actually make, if we go out of the shop real quick, you'll be able to cook some of these recipes. They are going to have certain missions attached to these. Like, I had this one mission that required me to make this stupid fish soup just because I couldn't find all the items. But again, these are things that if you click it, it will tell you where you can obtain them. They also have like little ways that you can make some of the chopping resources as well. So these are going to be things that you want to ultimately do, because you do have a proficiency level for your cooking. And as you increase this will obviously help you with making better items, which these items are going to be really, really nice for you to take into cooperative modes, as well as just generalized dungeons that where you might need a specific buff that could help you either do more damage or gain more energy. So again, that's something that I feel like is going to be of value a little bit later when you get into more of like like the actual gameplay of like the harder content, and as well as cooperative game modes. So just kind of keep an eye out for this, right? And also when you're traversing on the Outer World or Huanglong, there will be different spots where you can cook up stuff. So this isn't just the only you can do it, but this is one of the only places you can buy it. So just want to throw that in there. Now, the last exchange we're going to be talking about is just going to be the shop, right? So they have the Aftershock Shellhorn, the Oscillated Shellhorn, and the Tesseract voucher. Now, the thing with this is that when you're actually trying to look at what is worth investing, I will say all of these things in here are actually pretty like high in value, which is why this shop is probably like really important. You do have the modulation key code, which you can just like unlimitedly exchange for as long as you have the corresponding value or amount. But these are going to be different things, for example, for like leveling up your forts or skills, or ascensions or weapon ascensions on your characters. So that is just really, really important resources right here. And these are going to be some other items like the base items that you'll need as well, for you to be able to do some more of your skilling up and stuff like that. This is also going to be a sword that you'll be able to obtain. They also have a Auroralator and a heavy blade as well. And then of course, like I said, at the end, they have the Reverberation wave bands for different characters. I'm pretty sure that these might rotate out in and out. So they at least have the beginner units here first. So I don't know if they're going to either refresh these or rotate them out, but that is a possibility. Now, if we go to the Isolated Shellhorn, this is just going to be a shop with some of the lower tiered versions. They do have gacha pools as well in here. But again, this is going to be something that is going to be probably like on a monthly reset as well as the other shop. But this one is definitely going to be one that you have limited amounts of items to buy, but you do get this currency in way more of an abundance than you do the other respective Aftershock Shellhorn. So this one you could probably spend a little bit more freely in comparison to the other one, because a lot of these resources are only going to be like tier 1s and 2s, whereas this one is like tier 3 and 4, it looks like. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of value coming out of this shop. But both, I feel like whether you're, starting out fresh or getting into some of that later game stuff is going to be pretty important. And then the very last one is going to be for just simply using your gacha currency or premium currency, which is here, the Tesseract voucher. You're going to be able to exchange those for at a cost of 160 for modulation key codes. So that's pretty much all of the shops, guys. I wanted to make sure that we got everything in there. Now, again, if you guys have any additional questions, let me know in the comment section down below. I hope you enjoyed this video and it gave you more insight on each of these shops. But that's going to be that, guys. Let me know what you guys think. Stay blessed, stay charged up, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.